What's cracking, guys? Bruce Madsen, your host of the show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and I'm here for our weekly Rashod Bateman update. I get requests about Bateman all the time. My inbox is flooded, and I know I got to keep you guys happy, so this is why we're getting weekly Rashod Bateman videos. Plus, I love talking about the guy. But last week, against the Chicago Bears, with Lamar Jackson out, Marquise Brown out of the lineup, we only seen him catch 3 balls for 29 yards, which is not good. However, Tyler Huntley was in at quarterback. After watching the full game twice, because I just wanted to see what's happening, because I knew I had to do this video. Really, what I saw from the offense is them just trying to get the ball out quickly with a fast pace with him under center, and usually that resulted for him looking over the middle, going to the tight end, going whatever was open the quickest, and just getting that ball out. So that did not result to as many targets as we hoped for Rashod Bateman. He still had a 17% target share in that game, which wasn't horrible, but 3 balls, 29 yards is not the results we want in fantasy. But one thing we want to think about, too, going into this, once we got the news out that Lamar was out, that was a red flag. Marquise Brown being out seemed very enticing, but we did not know what we were going to get with Tyler Huntley. That's understandable. Another thing, too, in the video that I shot last week, I told you guys that this was not an optimal matchup for Bateman or the pass catchers involved because how slow pace that game projected to be. Chicago likes to run it slow. They had Justin Fields at quarterback, a rookie. They do not want to pick up the pace and fluster him. Also, they had Andy Dalton into the game as well, but they are a slower paced team. As with the Ravens, they run the ball more than most teams. They are a little slower paced team too when it comes to run out the clock, which is not as optimal for fantasy production. I saw that being a slow game and that we needed Bateman to hit the end zone or get some yak on some catches for him to be fantasy viable. However, from market share standpoint, even after this game, he still owns a 19% share of the Ravens passing targets, and he has a 9.5 average depth of target. I wish his ADOT would climb up a little bit. Those deeper shots gives him more options to be able to hit those fantasy points, more chances. The target share is still high in this offense, which is good to see, especially for a young rookie. I imagine if he started the season healthy, started week 1 in the lineup, we're looking at a 1,000-yard receiver. But since he started injured, had to work his way in and really just get involved mid-season, we're seeing some ups and downs, along with some weird game scripts. Last week's game script was easily foreseeable, going to be weird. We figured that one, but the Chargers game was weird. The Bengals game was kind of weird. We had some weird game scripts for the Ravens where they kind of started off slow, then they had to pick it up. And the Dolphins game, they had, 3 points for the majority of the game or whatever. It just these weird games. We have a game here against the Browns this week. Vegas has a 47 over-under, so they're projecting an average point total for this game, and usually, historically, it's not a super low-scoring game, but we might be able to pinpoint it being lower scoring due to the Browns want to run the ball. They do not have Odell Beckham anymore. The pass catching is not there. The passing game has not been on fire. The Ravens, if you let them, they will run the ball as well. So this could be a slower game. However, we've seen these two teams open up the game script as well, and I think that's why the over-under set at 47, kind of middle of the road among the NFL, because it could go either way. And that's what we could see in this game. We could see the playbooks open up for both teams, or at least for the Ravens, or Browns either way, and this become a high-scoring game. It could be a low-scoring game as well. That makes Bateman a very volatile asset for this week because there's a chance he could go off. We're still waiting for his first touchdown. That's going to happen eventually. That could happen this week, especially them with a primetime game under the lights, and they're going to have to get some scoring done in this contest. This isn't going to be like the Chicago Bears game where it's just low scoring, hard mouth football. This is going to be a little bit more higher scoring. It could open up the game script and it could be a shootout. It isn't projected to be that way. Probably not. Probably more middle of the road in scoring, but none of this 13-10 BS game script. So I imagine both teams will probably be like in the 20s. One might be in the low 20s, one in the high 20s or 30s. We're going to get some scoring in this game, I feel, but we're probably not going to get a shootout. I look for Rashod Bateman just to be a volatile option in your lineups this week. I do count for him to get his first touchdown sometime in the next couple weeks, and this might be the week. If you're struggling to find a wide receiver for your lineup, you just have, for some reason, trash, and you need to get this win this week, and you want to gamble, Rashod Bateman might be the guy off waivers. He is getting 19% share of the targets. Targets are going his way. Workload's going his way. If this game flips on its head, they start throwing the ball, they have to move the ball, or he gets that first touchdown, then he's gold for it. He also had a down week last week. I've had people flood some of my inbox saying that he's trash. You know what that means? That means when people are down on a player, that's when that player usually starts improving. So you may want to cash in on that. That's just some pseudoscience I just want to throw out there. But Rashod Bateman is getting a large portion of the targets. He's looked good. He's made some good grabs, good route running. There's nothing about his game that you could say that makes him a bad player. If anything, he looks very advanced for a rookie wide receiver. And I guarantee you, once we get a full year under his belt, you're going to see him produce in the box score for multiple weeks next year in year 2. Right now, though, it's been volatile. It's been up and down. Things have been weird with the Ravens, so it's not 100% on him. I wish he got some deeper targets. That's one thing that's been preventing some of his breakout. A 9.5 average depth of target is not good. However, last week, you got Huntley in there. They're trying to get the ball out quick as possible to get those completions in, and that did not benefit Bateman's game, not at all. That's why you saw Vernay. That's why you saw Watkins get more targets. They saw a lot of usage on the running backs and tight ends. Going forward with Lamar Jackson back in the lineup, Bateman is good to go. Also, Lamar Jackson's more apt to push it to Bateman. That is facts because he's having like a 20% target share, 19-20% when Lamar Jackson's under center. So that may be a safer route. I understand you may want to shy away when Tyler Huntley was under center because that makes sense because Rashod Bateman didn't produce, only caught 3 balls. Be on the lookout for Bateman. Start him if you need him. Make sure he's not on your waiver wire because you do not want to go in the playoffs of your fantasy league with him being on the back end of the roster of somebody else's team, and that's when he goes off. You really just want him on the back as a speculative asset. If he's not hitting, drop him if you need to patch up a hole, but really it's a wait-and-see thing. It's hard to hold players this late in the season, but you got to do the best you can, and you got to do what's best for your fantasy teams. But Bateman should be rostered on every fantasy league, and he should not be on waiver wires ever because he has the potential to pop off on any given week. You're talking about high-end first-round pick, good production out of college, came in late in the season, that's why it fell a little bit, and he's getting targets in the offense, and he's been somewhat productive. He's had double-digit fantasy scoring weeks in most of the games he's played, so it's not like he's been totally bombing out. He's even had one wide receiver 2 week on the season. But Rashod Bateman, be on the lookout for him. I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. We're on the quest for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're almost there. Your help would be much appreciated. But again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.